Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another video, and well, we got some kind of shitty news. The Indiana Pacers, I guess, are actively shopping Obi Toppin, and it sounds like, from what I've seen yesterday, Bennedict Mathurin is also in the conversation. He's not a guy that I think the Pacers are actively trying to trade. But because his fit with the starters is so fucking weird, unfortunately, with Bennedict Mathurin, the case is that he's a weird fit with the starting five, and the most he will probably ever be with Indiana from this point going forward is a really, really good sixth man. With that being said, though, the reason I'm annoyed with all of this, the trade for Bennedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin and stuff like that, is because Obi Toppin's making $14 million next season. If you read this, it's the idea that the Pacers are trying to get cap relief so they can re-sign Miles Turner. Okay? Bennedict Mathurin, they can re-sign regardless. All right? They own Bennedict Mathurin's rights. They can go over the cap to re-sign Bennedict Mathurin. The problem is the front office does not want to do it, okay? I don't even think it's the front office. It's Herb Simon that doesn't want to fucking do it. And I'm getting really tired of Herb Simon's penny-pinching bullshit all the time, okay? Herb Simon, for whatever reason, just refuses to pay the fucking luxury tax, okay? And my message to Herb Simon would be, okay, if you can't take the heat, then get the fuck out of the kitchen. Okay? That's my message to Herb Simon. If you can't take the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen. Because Matt Ishbia just bought the fucking Suns and said, fuck it, go get me Kevin Durant and go get me Bradley Beal. Matt Ishbia was so dedicated to winning that he said, go get me the worst contract in the NBA. I want to win now. So what happens? The Pacers are officially tied for 4th place in the fucking East right now as we're going into the All-Star break. The Pacers are buyers. The Pacers are buyers at this point. Okay? If you're going to trade Obi Toppin and you're going to trade Bennedict Mathurin, which you can't really get a lot for because Bennedict Mathurin only makes $7.2 million this year. So in total, you're looking about $20.2 million is what you got to try and trade for something significant. Now, I will say this, okay? There are some trades that if you go to Fanspo, you could look at. Let's go to the Pacers, and for example, Sacramento is very obviously exploring the idea of selling. You could trade for a 35-year-old DeMar DeRozan, who what's his stats look like? I haven't really looked a whole lot at it at the moment, but I do know he's averaging 21 points per game, 48% from the field, 32% from three. Does not help us in the three-point percentage department. But he's shooting 86% from the free throw line on almost 22 points per game, 4 rebounds, essentially, and almost in like 3.5 assists. So if we go into the trade machine here, Obi Toppin and Bennedict Mathurin for DeMar DeRozan, okay, that's not the end of the fucking world. All right, it's not. It's a consolidation trade. I think DeMar DeRozan is kind of in the ballpark of Brandon Ingram, but he's 35, okay? I like what Obi Toppin and Bennedict Mathurin bring to the table, and on top of it also, here's the thing. My biggest problem with them wanting to trade Obi Toppin and Bennedict Mathurin is it doesn't help you re-sign Miles Turner. That was the whole thing. Oh, well, this fucking article says, this tweet here from, Fred Katz, who works for The Athletic, okay, it says here that, sending someone like Toppin into another team's cap space during the offseason just to unload his salary could cost the Pacers a draft pick. Which, granted, I don't think we really give a fuck about draft picks anymore. Okay, we're done growing talent. It's at a point now where we're developing the guys we have, and we're trying to add to that, right? We traded for Pascal Siakam. Okay, Pascal Siakam just got named an All-Star. Congratulations to Pascal Siakam. But the thing is, okay, this team needs wing play, and Obi Toppin is 6'9". He is capable of playing the three. In fact, if he gets better at defense, I would say for $14 million, he could arguably start at the fucking 3 if he gets taller and gets better at defense, which he is currently in the process of doing. So, my question would be, why would we trade Obi Toppin and potentially Bennedict Mathurin just to bring back Miles Turner? When, if we look at Thomas Bryant's per 36 numbers, okay, which are fucking ridiculous, by the way. Thomas Bryant, we go to his per 36 numbers. Bro, Thomas Bryant's per 36 numbers are better than Miles Turner's per 36 numbers and his starting numbers. Like, Thomas Bryant across the board, for the most part, is on par or better than Miles Turner if they were to both play 36 minutes every night. Okay? Thomas Bryant is projected to put up better numbers than Miles Turner, and I believe that he could. I've said this time and time again, okay? The only people who believe that Miles Turner is not replaceable are Pacers fans. Miles Turner would be a great center on the Milwaukee Bucks, on the Golden State Warriors, on the Boston Celtics, on the Los Angeles Lakers, any fucking team that doesn't require this guy to bang down low. Thomas Bryant at least boxes out. Miles Turner does not do that. Yeah, Miles Turner shooting a career high 40% from 3. Okay? Thomas Bryant is shooting a higher percentage than him from 3 this year at 41.4%. He's shooting 87% from the free throw line this year in the games that he's played. You're looking for a stretch big. Thomas Bryant is your stretch big. He rebounds better than Miles. He plays one-on-one defense better than Miles. And he costs you a fraction of the fucking price. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why would we not extend Thomas Bryant and let Miles Turner go to whatever fucking team he's going to go to? Let him go to Milwaukee. Because that's what Milwaukee's going to do. Like, you guys want to know where I think Miles Turner's going to go? I'll tell you in this video. I think Miles Turner's going to be a Milwaukee Buck by the time free agency is over. You know why? He's the closest fucking thing to Brook Lopez that Giannis is going to get. And Brook Lopez is on the last year of his deal, if I'm correct. Okay? What do the Bucks look like? Brook Lopez, yeah, he's on an expiring deal. He's done at the end of this season. He is 36 years old, bro. And the numbers ain't getting better. You think they're bringing back Brook Lopez? Not for $23 million or not. They're going to renounce their rights to Brook Lopez, bring him back maybe on a vet minimum deal just because he's been there so long. They're trying to get rid of Pat Connaughton's contract. Gee, wonder why that is. Maybe because Miles Turner wants $30 million, upwards of $30 million in free agency, and the Bucks plan to offer it to him because he fits perfectly next to Damian Lillard and more specifically Giannis. He stretches the floor like Brook Lopez. You want my top free agency destination for Miles Turner? There it is. I mean, even if we go to Atlanta is reportedly in the Brandon Ingram sweepstakes. If you want to trade for anybody, go get DeAndre Hunter. Okay? DeAndre Hunter's been balling this year. 6'8". You know, Obi Toppin. Excuse me. Bennedict Mathurin. DeAndre Hunter. That could work, right? I find it very hard to get behind the idea of giving up our depth to bring back a center that I feel like we should have moved on from a while ago. Yeah, Miles Turner's getting better. I'll give him that. Miles Turner's a solid player. You know, I guess like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't think Miles Turner could be a center on a championship team. I really didn't. Now that has changed. I think Miles Turner could be a championship center on a championship team. Just not on our team. Our team has too many holes that Miles Turner either refuses to fill or is not asked to fill. Thomas Bryant goes out there, he rebounds, he boxes people out, he hustles, he shoots the three very well, he's got a very high motor, and we're worried about what we're paying Obi Toppin next year? When Miles Turner wants upwards of $30 million a year, which, by the way, you have to be very careful about, because Miles Turner isn't worth much more than I would struggle to pay this motherfucker more than 30. But like, if you go north of $34 million, $33 million a year on Miles Turner, you're paying too much. Okay, but there are teams out there like the Milwaukee Bucks that would be like, yeah, we'll take him, even though you could probably bring back Thomas Bryant on the same type of deal that you gave Aaron Nesmith or Obi Toppin. I would say more similar to Aaron Nesmith. And let him be a fucking starter. Like, that's what Thomas Bryant wants. Thomas Bryant wants to be a fucking starter. Thomas Bryant wants fucking playtime. Thomas Bryant went to Indiana University, okay? Thomas Bryant is, I think, could be, and if you gave him Miles minutes, is a better player than Miles Turner. I think Thomas Bryant, I've been saying this for a long time and nobody wants to fucking listen to me. All of a sudden we trade for Thomas Bryant and everyone's like, oh wow, that guy's pretty fucking good. All of a sudden I've made believers out of people. Suddenly I'm starting to see comments of people like, well, I'm not the only one saying it. I see other people saying it. There's other people like, if you gave Thomas Bryant Miles Turner's minutes, you could probably put up better numbers than Miles Turner. Or at the very least, give us what Miles Turner gives us. And they are 100% correct. I will die on this fucking hill. I don't care. Ask yourself, $11 million? $33 million. When you can get literally the same fucking thing. Now, I will say this, it's not perfect. There is one gripe to this, and that's the idea of Thomas Bryant's injury history. But Miles Turner's been injured too. Miles Turner historically has been an injured player. Only recently, I think, has Miles Turner really kind of turned that around. But I just don't think it's worth it. I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah, he played like, he's about 60 games per year type of player. Last year was 77, but like that's my point though, is like the idea that like Miles Turner is a good player. I don't know if he's worth what people want to pay him. I don't think he's worth what the front office even wants to pay him. So, I don't know why this website always fucking crashes nowadays. It's really weird. But my point is, okay, let's just do this. Actually, I can't do that, can I? I don't know. Either way, okay, I don't think retaining Miles Turner is significant enough for us to want to rip down any of the depth we have. And if you are going to trade that depth, you better get something significant back for it. Not Cameron Johnson. Okay? Like, Cam Johnson's a guy everyone's like, oh yeah, he puts us over the top. Yeah, if he fucking plays. If he plays. And I see my computer finally caught up with what I was doing. But Cam Johnson's a great player if he plays. If you, I've said this in other videos, if you weren't happy with how many games Malcolm Brogdon played and he was injured all the time, you're not going to be happy with Cameron Johnson. Yeah, Cameron Johnson's 6'8", but the problem is, even the reason they want to trade Obi Toppin and supposedly Bennedict Mathurin doesn't even fit the narrative for why they want to trade him. Because Cam Johnson makes more money than both of them next year, combined. So, I'm not understanding. I'm not. I simply don't think trading Obi Toppin and Bennedict Mathurin or Aaron Nesmith and whoever and Obi Toppin, it seems like they're really, really fucking adamant on trading Obi Toppin. And I think I get it. Jarris Walker has to get minutes somewhere. I don't know where that's going to come from, but I understand why they want to do that, because they'd like to put Jarris Walker in that secondary unit. I get that, right? And I understand that's the ideology behind this trade, right? That's the ideology behind a consolidation trade. It's like, okay, if we trade Obi Toppin plus Aaron Nesmith or plus Bennedict Mathurin, right, we can put Jarris Walker in that second unit and maybe get one piece that will put us a step forward. That I understand. That's the ideology behind all this. My problem is, though, it's like the team is really good the way it is now, and yeah, with all the gripes and shit that we have now, even with those gripes, our team is still really fucking good. And I feel like part of the only, like, if Herb Simon was just willing to pay the fucking luxury tax for like a year or 2 years, okay, our team could make a serious run at a championship. The only team you really have to make like any serious concerted effort to beating is a team that's in your conference, the Boston Celtics. We are tied for 4th place right now. And Obi Toppin's a guy that everybody seems to like. I like him. Yeah, he gets paid $14 million. So fucking what? He's one of the few guys on the team that I really don't give a fuck what we pay him, because he's becoming a better player. He's getting better on defense. He's become a better three-point shooter. Like, what's Obi Toppin shooting from 3 this year? That's another thing I'm curious about. What's the deal with Obi? Shooting 35% from 3. Okay, it's not great, but it's not horrible either. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that I think, yeah, he took a serious dip in three-point shooting. I like field goal wise, he took a serious dip across the board, but he's still one of the best bench players in the league, even with that dip. So, I don't know, man. I understand the reasoning behind these things. I do. And I think fans do as well. Like, anybody who's paying attention to the team, I think everybody understands, like, why certain guys are on the trade block. But at the same time, it's like, sometimes, like TJ McConnell, I've said this in the past, sometimes guys provide something you can't trade for. And I feel like Obi Toppin is maybe one of those guys. Miles Turner isn't. Miles Turner's a guy that I just think he's always deferred to other people. When Tyrese Halliburton came in, he let him be the leader. When Pascal Siakam came in, he let him be the leader. Even Bennedict Mathurin, I think, has more pull in the locker room than Miles Turner does. And Miles Turner's been there longer than any of them. Thomas Bryant's a guy that I think the team could rally around. I think he's a guy that provides a lot of the same shit that Miles Turner does. And we traded a second-round pick for him. So, if it was me, I'm letting Miles Turner walk. I'm using that cap space for something else. For whoever becomes a free agent this offseason at the small forward position. Or what we could do is sign Thomas Bryant long-term, because I really think that's the approach they should take as well. Like, if you really want to get something fucking diabolical, include Miles Turner with Aaron Nesmith and get yourself a backup center and a solid wing player that everybody's trying to, like, somebody's trying to get rid of. I think I said this at one point. You could trade, if we go to Fanspo, this was a trade I think I showed in the Discord not long ago. But the Pelicans are looking to unload Brandon Ingram. Yeah, Brandon Ingram wants more money than he's worth. But you could unload Miles Turner and Aaron Nesmith to them, I believe, for $30 million. Okay, hold on. How did I do this? They do want to get rid of Obi Toppin, but I'm not in the business of getting rid of Obi Toppin. I think it was Aaron Nesmith and Isaiah Jackson, right? Yeah, it puts me more so in the ballpark for Brandon Ingram and Daniel Tice was like the shit I was looking at, and that's a trade that works. I think Miles Turner is a guy that the Pelicans could use a lot better than we could. You get your backup center in Daniel Tice. Thomas Bryant becomes the starter. This is kind of a consolidation trade because you're giving up Aaron Nesmith. You get rid of Isaiah Jackson, who's not coming back anyway. I just feel like the team's not going to bring him back. Isaiah Jackson's a good player. I just feel like they want something taller. I feel like James Wiseman's a guy they're going to give another shot to. And Thomas Bryant is definitely getting another shot. So, that's one trade that could work as well. The cap is only affected for us by $652,000. It's less than $1 million. It says -2 wins, but I don't believe that. This win total thing is based off really, really arbitrary bullshit. But that's another trade. You know what I'm saying? It's not perfect. I'm not saying any of these trades are perfect, but it's just the idea, like, if you're going to make a consolidation trade, at least get me a 20-point per game scorer. You know what I'm saying? Or in the 20 to 22 point per game scorer range. Even DeMar DeRozan. I wouldn't be upset at DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's a guy that I think is, he was runner-up he's won Clutch Player of the Year before. I think he's a runner-up for it as well. This past year, he's 35, but he can still get you 20 points per game. Granted, next year that might fall off a little more. I'm not sure. But it's just the idea, like, even though you're trying to be a buyer at this point in time, there's not a lot out there. There's just not. That's another reason why I kind of think they should just leave shit alone. I understand all aspects of this. I understand why they want to make a trade. I understand why Herb Jones doesn't want to pay or Herb Simon doesn't want to pay the fucking luxury tax, and nobody does. But if you're going to be a team that's going to compete for a championship, you fucking do it. And we're in that situation. So, I don't know. Apparently, the Pacers are not expected to trade Miles Turner ahead of the February 6th trade deadline. I get that. I understand, like, wanting to keep him around at least until we get to the playoffs and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a big thing as well. I kind of think this team really wants to see how they do in the playoffs. But I don't support this. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't support trading Obi Toppin and Bennedict Mathurin just to keep Miles Turner. I say you leave the roster the fuck alone, wait till you get to the playoffs, see how the playoffs go, and then worry about this bullshit in the offseason. That's my take on it. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.